A Court of Fairies and Fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel Liv and Aka. A bookish theory and discussion podcast for the Akatar, Crescent City, and Tug series, as well as other romantasy books. Guest episode, Arcane and Ancestry.
All right, welcome everybody. We are back with a group session. We have some more people hopefully popping on a little later. But for now we have Katie, Candy, and Kay with us. All the K names and the C names.
Give me a K for today.
Give me a K for today. But yeah, we were basically discussing, Sarah's announcement. And people seem to have this notion that she finished all of the drafts on the same day. She didn't. No. These updates are not in real time. The notebook, she does not write the draft in the notebook, hence her laptop being in the reel.
And plus that notebook is in really good shape.
Yeah.
So that notebook is just for show, or it has nothing in it.
And the contact is in the name.
Yeah.
Notebook.
Yes. Yeah. She said in her Today Show interview, I just do the little notes and little outlines in the notebook, and then I do my draft on the laptop. So she has said that.
Absolutely.
But we're super excited. So Elaine as in Moore's book, no certain order yet. I'm curious.
Did she announce that's it though? It's Elaine as in Moore. Is that official?
Yeah. So she said in 2020 she did the whole story about how she drunk pitched it to her editors, and then they called her the next day, and she barely remembered, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to contract you for these books that you pitched to us." She's like, "I pitched you books." She's like, I forgot that I pitched them when I was drunk at dinner. And then in 2023, the interviewer told her, she's like, so based off that story, has any of your plans changed, or is it the same plans or whatever? And she's like, oh no, it's the same plan. So we just don't know what order. So who do you think?
Really interested about that? Is it actually going to be an Azriel book, or is it going to be Azriel's love interest book? Because all the other books are, female perspective, so why would that one not be?
I mean, to be fair,
an Azriel book.
To be fair, she did Tog is Aylin's story, and she had a Chaol book.
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody
that gives me hope, because I was like, oh, I guess I'll read those.
Yeah.
The three people I really don't want to read about is sort of Elaine, okay, as all right, Moore, all right.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am about Moore. It's just I don't really care.
The only thing I'm excited,
but not really.
The only thing I'm excited for in Moore's book is Eris, and that's it. I'm just reading it for Eris, honestly.
We do need that story.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I have more questions about Under the Mountain and Dan's Wings. And,
So it's weird because she has said so many times how excited she was to write Azriel's book. So he is, I think it is definitely his book. I think Gwen's going to be the dual POV with his love interest. People already know that I think that. But in terms of who's his first, it could go any which way.
It's got to be, if she continues with the romance structure, it's Elaine. I mean, that's the way that works. If she drops it and goes full fantasy, we could get an Az book.
And I would say Elaine, but I don't know, just after Akasif and after Hofas, it's leading to Azriel for me. But also another little weird thing that I noticed, because I'm weird, is the color scheme of the book. So every other book is a warm tone color, and then every other book is a cool tone color. And so every other book in the cool tones are a shade of blue. So if Akasif was orange, then that would say that the next book would be dark blue, which would be Azriel's. Little.
Well, I was wondering if it was going to be, if there's going to be an actual romance love triangle with Az, Elaine, and Lucy.
No, I think that love triangle got squashed.
I totally think that's over. Yeah. No. I think it's over, and people are so mad.
Because at the same time, I feel like we would have gotten small, tiny hints of it in Akasif after the point where
in the Hofas bonus chapter.
Exactly. There was none of that.
Yeah, and Bryce was go ahead.
You guys are totally Elaine and Lucy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't really have a horse in this race. I don't really care either way, but I want a Lucy book. I want Lucy's book. I want definitely want court. I have so many questions.
Yes.
I just want out of the night court, really.
I know.
Yeah. I hope Az leaves the night court and goes somewhere else. And then I would like his story a lot. Same thing with Moore.
He has to be.
Yeah. See, this is why I think
Winter Court.
Yeah, but this is why I think like the Lucian and the Elaine book, if it is next, it would make sense because she was like, it's a long book because there's a lot we don't know about Elaine, and there is a lot of stuff with Lucian that we need to know. And so them being in a book together,
in there.
Them being in a book together, there is no filler. That is just a powerhouse book of information.
Yes. That is just an information dump because we're also going to get information based off of other courts because remember, we've been in the perspective of Farrah for like majority of these books where she does not ask proper questions.
Yeah. And then
so
even
we don't know anything. Yeah.
Stuck in the night court.
Lucy knows everything. He's a spy.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can get lots of information.
Yeah.
So his book is so that will be an information.
And Elaine's a seer. So when like the information, we might actually know things. Oh, that's
and you know what too? And you can also tell based off of even when they were humans and they went to and when they were trying to get the whole meetings with the human queen set up. Elaine was the one that was asking more of the questions about the Fae world because she was interested, while Nesta was just like, I don't care. You're not bringing them here.
Yeah. And even back to that, Elaine always wanted to travel. Lucian's a traveling emissary.
Yep.
He's been to the continent. He's been to the Winter Court, Summer Court, Spring Court. He's been to all of the courts, the human lands. He's connected to every freaking court in a way.
He has a lot of friends in high places.
Yes, exactly. So I think we're going to get a lot of traveling in Lucian and Elaine's book. I do think that, yes, if it's next, that's why it's a long book. I am a little sad that if she doesn't, extend her contract, that Tamlin's story will be a side story in their book. Like a stop along the way, little tiny update when they pop over to Spring, which kind of makes me sad.
Although he could show up in a different book. He's got that Starry Pond. He could go over to Crescent City.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for his arc to span a few books. I don't know if she would do it though. It just makes me really sad, and I try not to get my hopes up.
My hopes are up. But
she also doesn't
up every crumb.
Yeah,
but she also doesn't discriminate
I feel like
against.
He wouldn't just leave him hanging, and he's just hanging, and he needs to not hang because I'm over it.
Yeah.
When she gets an idea for a character later on, they get really vague, and Tamlin has gotten very vague. Elaine is vague. Lucy Lucy was pretty well developed, and all of a sudden it was just sort of like this weird mystery dude, and it's like, oh, he's getting a book.
I think it would be
with her.
We know nothing about Elaine.
I think it's one of those situations where she probably started writing Lucian as a background character and fell in love with him on her own.
Oh, she did.
And she was like, oh, I have to do something more for him.
Yeah. I think it would be really amazing if in the Lucian book it was kind of like, obviously all the books are split up into parts, but I think if their book was split up into parts, I think each part should take place somewhere that they're visiting. I think that would be really cool. So there's obviously they start out at the night court, and I would want that to be the shortest part, obviously.
The shortest, it
needs to be.
Because obviously they're starting out in the night court. But then I would love like a spring court chunk, a continent chunk, because Elaine always wanted to go to the continent. We know the COVID shit's happening there. And then even a summer court chunk, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know.
Hybern.
Or, Hybern, I'm pretty sure that Lucian would help Tarquin with the Fae Equality Alliance thing. Yeah. Because especially in honor of Jasminda, there's that. And then Autumn really depends on when Beron is killed off. I need him to die so badly. Like,
I feel like it would be in a Lucian book that would happen.
Dying in the next book.
Exactly. If it's a Lucian book, I feel like he would end up being often a Lucian book.
Or Helion dies.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, don't do that.
I know. So here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to end. So I feel like the day court, the spring court, day court, autumn court, I think are going to be the biggest chunks. I think that the day court part is going to be in the middle. I think he's going to figure out all that shit about his parentage or whatever before Beron dies. And I think the last portion is going to be the autumn court. When Beron dies, Eris takes the throne. And then he's like, oh, there's no more bounty. You can come back to autumn. You can see Jasminda's grave, which you've never seen, which always bothers me. Elaine could kind of be there, kind of like when Aelin and Rowan went to see Sam's grave. I think that's what Sarah's going to do there.
So I have a question. When is Rhys taking his dark turn then?
Exactly.
Is it going to be an Az's book?
I think that's going to be the Az book.
I think that's going to be Az's book, yeah.
Yeah, because I also
think going Akatar 6, Crescent City 4, Akatar 7. Maybe that's the novella. Maybe Twilight of the Gods,
Yeah.
And then the last, and I think these other books, I just don't know if Twilight of the Gods is the end of the High Lords, or is it the whole?
I think it's the whole
Valg?
prequel with the crossings.
Okay.
Every crossing, like even the ones we didn't see, like the Tog to ACOTAR one, you know.
All right, I like it.
Anything about Twilight of the Gods besides just the name Twilight of the Gods?
Just the name.
No, just the name, and that, you know, it's a book that she's been really, really been wanting to write for a long time. So actually, if you go back to her, well, you can't because she deleted it, but in her old Pinterest, there was originally just an ACOTAR folder and a Twilight of the Gods folder before she decided on like, oh, Crescent City, I'll have to weave this in first and stuff like that. So she's been planning Twilight of the Gods since ACOTAR.
So with Twilight of the Gods, I had thought about this, and I was scrolling around Netflix maybe a couple months ago, or whatever, and there already is a show and a copyright for Twilight of the Gods.
I know.
So I won't be surprised if she ends up changing the name.
I think she will change the name.
She's gonna have to.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's already trademarked by Netflix.
Like Dusk of the Gods or something. I don't know. Right. Dawn of the Gods.
Like, or Rise of the Gods.
Rise of the Gods. Like, something like that. But so when after the whole, you know, Eris rising to power thing, I think that maybe that's where that's going to lead off, and then it will be like the Eris and More book, because then Eris will be High Lord of Autumn.
When is Cormac coming back?
I think that's going to be I think that's going to be the
More novella
book.
Towards the end. Yeah, and then it leads into
Crescent City 4.
Because there's a lot of characters still in Crescent City to delve into. Yeah, I think she kind of, in terms of the Crescent City world, not the ACOTAR world, but in terms of the Crescent City world, I think she shut the book on crossovers with Bryce opening portals. So I don't think that's going to happen in Crescent City 4. I think if there's going to be another crossover, it'll be Azriel's book, because with Aleutian, I think like the Aleutian books, like I said, is going to be Aleutian and then like Tamlin's side plot. And then for the Azriel and Gwen book, it's going to be the Nesta side plot with Dusk. Yeah. So I think they're both going to be really big books, like Kingdom of Ash big books.
And it makes more sense.
A bonus chapter with Crescent City where we get Cormac crossing over.
Oh my God. If I am right, I'm going to be obnoxious.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to be obnoxious.
No way.
Not at all. I'm so humble.
I'm married to any of my predictions as far as the books at this point. I know which ones I want to read. I don't want to read about more at all.
I know.
I've been rereading and I'm kind of mad at her right now, and so I need
let's talk about her writing gay characters. I mean, we've been having a whole discussion about gay characters, and I just hopefully she gets a sensitivity
reader. Yeah,
she needs to, because my best friend who's bisexual, when she got to that whole more coming out scene, she's just like, this felt like a clutch, like some type of saving grace, and not like an actual. She said she didn't feel connected to it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She's like, she didn't connect to it at all.
Because SJM got bullied into
it's just
it.
Weird. Yeah.
People were calling her homophobic and shit online because she didn't have any, and that's because Az and More were supposed to be mates. We saw that build up in Akamath, and then it was just like she just slapped a band-aid on it, and it was like, all right, weird, but okay.
You know, I always like to stick to an author's comfort zone, and I don't think we should ever force an author. Like,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
You know, if you're heterosexual and you don't know a lot of gay people or don't have a lot of experience with queer people,
then you shouldn't write about something you have no experience about.
Exactly. You know, it's the same thing with people of color. Like, if you're a white person and you're trying to write a POC, you can write some really insensitive stuff, well-meaning, but really wrong. That's why I don't think we should be forcing authors. And granted, it is a whitewashed world. Yes. But I think you make the problem worse when you try to force people into these, you get the more situation, right? Where they're like, oh, you don't have any gay characters? Here's one. Oh, you don't have any POCs? Oh, here's one.
And even if you do,
evil, but I didn't mean to do that.
But even if you do, I feel like even the character doesn't have to revolve around their sexuality or their skin color or whatever. They can just be a character. Like, I don't understand these people that are like, well, you have to for diversity, or you just look like a homophobe, or you just look like a racist.
Mel,
and it's
Mel, I've said this like a million times before. That's like more like fake wokeness, where it's just we're not asking on your behalf to advocate for us. It's not that serious. because me personally, as a Black woman reading fantasy that doesn't really like have a bunch of Black characters inside of it, it doesn't bother me because if that's what I wanted, there is Black authors, and I have a lot on my bookshelf who do write fantasy with Black main characters.
Yeah, it's like,
and they do it well. I'm not asking SJM to represent me. Exactly. But it's cool that she throws in like characters of color. It's nice to see that. Yeah. And she makes them people, which I appreciate.
Yeah, she doesn't harp on it. And the whole arguments online about, is Lucien Black or why is he whitewashed?
I'm like, who cares?
First of all, nobody cares. And second of all, just because canon says he is, you know, white passing doesn't mean he's not a POC. There are light-skinned POCs.
Like if we really want to get that specific, we can literally say that the bad boys are like of South Asian descent or Persian. They are, because that's what they're described to be. If we wanted to really get that technical.
I kind of picture them as being islanders, like Samoa or
that's like how I picture them.
That shade.
Yeah.
I had this whole freaking debate with somebody, and I probably shouldn't have because they were super rude and just abrasive, and they didn't really want to listen or anything. Yeah, exactly. But I was basically telling them, I was like, Illyrians are real people. They're white people with tan skin. Like, they exist. They're Balkan. They're, like, present-day Albanians, and, like, they're real people. So you can't just be like, oh no, I'm labeling them as this when they're actually this. Like, that kind of stuff bothers me. And the same when Sarah says something about her characters and someone's like, no, she's not right. I'm like, she's not right. It's her character.
Now, are the Illyrians
says Helion is Persian? Helion is Persian, period. Like, stop. I hate it. I hate the debate so much. It gets me so heated.
Are the Illyrians actually based on Illyrians, though? I didn't think they were actually based on Illyrians.
I think she just liked the name and thought it was cool.
I think they are by how their skin tone is described, how they're paler
and they are
in the dark and then tanner in the sun. Yeah, that's exactly how the Balkan people are. Okay. And I actually had, I wish I remembered her username. I actually had a friend who, I did like a whole annoyed video about this like a couple years ago. And I had a friend comment and she was like, thank you so much for putting this out. Like, I'm a Balkan person. I am very, very tan. But like, these people are making it seem like, you know, just because we're lighter skin POC, we don't exist. And like, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. Because it's like, Persian is.
I know it's a written history, but now I gotta like look at visuals because I have no idea what they look like.
Yeah, they look like the Illyrians without wings, pretty much. So it was fun to look up.
That's boring. Why don't they have wings?
Right, I know. Why aren't you born with wings? Damn it!
That's a snowy, snowy area, or is that desert? Where are we at? Where are we at geographically? That's hot, very hot and very cold.
I'm so bad with geography. Albania is
no. So that's how I was gonna say. So the Balkan is more like Poland, Denmark.
Yes,
that's northern. That's like more like northeastern. That's more northeastern Europe. And then the Black Sea is where the Illyrians were actually from. So that's more like
very warm. No,
so more warm. Yeah. Okay. So that's like Greece and all those other countries that surrounds the Black Sea over there.
Yes.
Because I had this debate with my husband the other day. He's Polish, so his Poland borders the Baltic Sea.
Yes.
So he's just like, no, that's the Baltics. The Black Sea is what you're talking about. That's where you have all like you have Serbia, you have Albania, you have Georgia, you have a bunch of other different countries down there.
Yeah.
I think you also have like Croatia and stuff like that as well too. Those are like deeper, more complected white people.
Like dark curly hair, Azriel. Huh.
Yeah. And so like to me, Helion and the Bat Boys, there's not much difference between how they look. I think Helion is a little darker because obviously the day court, the sun. It's kind of like, I kind of equate it to like Italians. My uncle is Italian and he is so dark in the summer. It is crazy. Yeah. So that's what I equate. So that's what I equate Helion to. Because I'm like, all right, so he's darker because he's always in the sun, you know? Not Italian, but like Persia, that area, you know? It's just so funny. Because I'm like, you can have POCs that like aren't Black, you know? So when it bothers me that they're like ignoring the entire summer court to put those traits on Helion and Lucien. When we have established Black characters that I think we should be. looking at.
Absolutely.
I fucking love Tarquin. Why is nobody talking about Tarquin?
I love Tarquin.
My favorite.
Tarquin
it pisses
is
me
a hottie.
off. Like, we need to talk about Tarquin. Even Beron and his sneakiness. Or Cressida and how wrong, like, she was done by Rhys because she was really into Rhys.
Now, Therian, isn't he a gay character too?
Who?
Theron or whatever his name is.
Therian? No, he's with Amren. He's the one.
Beron is not. That's
Theron.
Thesan you're talking about. Thesan. Thesan.
Oh, we're talking about the Little Mermaid.
Thesan is the High Lord of the Dawn Court. He's the gay guy.
Yeah, he's a gay one.
Yeah.
Thesan, that's who I was thinking of. Thank you. Yes.
I love Thesan. I would love a Dawn Court novella so much.
I love the Dawn Court period. I think it's like
the other one.
And the other one. Oh my God.
The other one.
I always say that one of my favorite quotes is from Thesan, and I quote it all the time. And it's basically just like, this does not bode well. Because I was like, it just sums up the whole fandom. This does not bode well.
This does not bode well. Crescent City is one of my favorites. I love that little
I have been like really interested in Thesan's ancestry.
Yeah.
Of this
the Zion.
Serious. How do you say? I thought it was Zion, but then I like looked up the word. I think it's Shen.
Zion.
Is that how you say it? Okay. Because I was looking it up in Chinese, like it's spelled like that, but it's Xian.
Yeah.
And I had a whole thing about that. I'm like,
Sarah doesn't go with the regular pronunciations ever.
No, never.
So it's fine.
So I don't know, but wherever that place is, I am very interested in them because
they're on the continent.
So I was looking at like I went on a deep dive of the word, and it like those beings in Chinese are like they're alchemists, and then they are like immortal beings that like got their immortality later in life. They weren't born that way.
Nuon,
so
my girl.
I'm
obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with her. I've done deep dives on Nuon. I fucking love her. I want her to be Eris's wife. I need them to be together. I need it.
Okay.
I need it.
Why her? I'm curious. Why her?
Okay, their tension at the High Lord meeting. I'm probably the only one who ever talks about this. Their tension at the High Lord meeting, and everybody is looking at all the other players, right? But she comes in and she's like, I have this antidote, and Lucian gave me this from probably Tamlin. And, you know, he was sneaking around. He gave me this to make the antidote for Faebane. And then Beron is on her ass, and he's like, well, you came from Zion, which is a loyalist country, so why should we trust you? And then she's like, I was born in Prithian like your sons. And they have a full out back and forth. And she's like, you know, my alchemists are fully trained and they know what they're doing. And Eris is the first male to pipe up and say, I will take it. Because Feyre says it first, because Feyre's like, you shouldn't be shitting on her, you know, the whole 2 yards. But then Eris is like, I will take it. And Beron is like, no, the fuck you won't.
I never and he's that. Well, now I need to go back and read it with like thinking if there's tension in mind.
Yes. And then because he like pipes up, he's like, I'll take it. And Beron is like, no, you won't. And he's like, I've seen the effects on Faebane and how it can render our powers useless. So he's standing up for her here. I love to think, and especially because she's like friends with Lucian, even though, again, we haven't seen that on page either, which I would love to see with the eye thing. But I would love her to have been Eris's confidant this whole time. And for her to be giving him updates on Lucian's life, not personal stuff, but just like how he's doing and stuff. Because I feel like Eris would want to know.
See, my headcanon is that Tamlin and Eris are friends because they're about the same age.
Yeah, I think Tamlin could definitely be one too, but with like the curse and everything, I feel like it's been a while. So then he was like, all right, who else can I talk to, you know? But yeah, I loved just Nuon is amazing. I love her. She stared down Helion and Tarquin, High Lords. Feyre clocks this. She's like,
I read it as he was like standing up for her because he knew what she had done for Lucian. But I am going to go back and reread it now with a different motive in mind and how it reads, because I was like, oh, that's sweet. Like,
if you read it thinking that they're already secret confidants, it comes off so much better and way less random.
Okay, I'm going to reread it tonight. I'll read it tonight.
I've done fanfics with them. Like I do think that him and Moore are rejected mates, which kind of sucks. There's so many clues about that. I think I've talked about that in other episodes, but I do.
Unless you did the timeline, then it's weird.
Yeah. Don't look at the timeline, Sarah. But yeah, I would love for like Nuon to be his endgame. I think that would be so sweet. And honestly, just to like, I know Beron would probably be dead at the time, but even just to like really hammer in the nail to Beron, like rolling in his grave, that like Eris marries
just to rub it in.
Hated.
Beron at the High Lord meeting is one of my favorites because Beron, although very crude, is also very right.
Very
a lot
right.
Of the time.
He's not
Except
wrong.
for when it came to Nuon. When it came to Rhys, he was so
on the ball. He was dead on. I was like, get him.
But when he started making fun of her, I was like, come on, dude.
Well, he's still
I
a jerk.
loved that he stood up for her.
Sarah's like, oh wait, he's too right. I gotta make him. I gotta remind everybody he's a jerk.
Yeah, she like comes in and like, oh, I love it. I love her scene. Like,
not that I like Beron. I don't. But like I mean, he's the oldest of the High Lords, so he's held on for a long time. So I mean,
this man is like 1,100 years old.
More because there's a reason he's been in power before he's been there. He's had to like oversee this stuff. They really should be listening to more than they are. But
yeah, based on like Nuon, I find it hilarious that Zion is like the alchemists and the tinkerers, and they, to me, give off really, really heavy Southern Continent vibes from Tog, which is another reason that I think that there was a Tog to Prythian crossover, because I think a lot of the Southern Continent people, when fleeing Tog, ended up in Zion and Prythian, and I think that's where Nuon's line comes from. I think she was from Shen's line, who also had a metal hand. And I did this whole theory board on her, like comparing her and Shen and the meanings of their names and the Southern Continent versus, things that was said about like Nuon and, and Thiessen and the Zion people in Akatar. And it's it's one of my favorite theory boards. It didn't get a lot of views, but it's one of my favorite theory boards because there is so many similarities between Zion or Dawncourt now and the Southern Continent. Like, so many. Even down to like their light, the healing light, like the Torre, the Torre was in the Southern Continent, and Thiessen has healing magic as a High Lord, so I love it.
So can we please, I love your theory that Elaine and Lucian are going to travel, because if they can just go over to this mysterious continent and we can just check it out, I would be so happy.
Me too.
Oh, we are definitely going to the continent.
On this continent?
I want to know why Moore hasn't been able to convince them to sign the treaty in 2 years now. I think she's sneaky.
What if it's as simple as Moore just does not want a treaty to happen?
Exactly.
So she's prolonging it as much as possible.
Like, why would Moore want slaves? It's weird.
Also, what is on that treaty? Like, we haven't even seen anything on it.
You would think the High Lady would have some information about what's happening.
Yeah, you would think the High Lady would.
The treaty itself is probably
have something.
Mutual defense pack. More open trade.
Yeah. I mean, basically, what was said about it, the vague shit that was said about it, is that Helion and I think Lucian, don't clock me on Lucian, but Helion at least helped draw it up because he is the knowledge guy, and this is why he's Lucian's dad. Hello. Helion helped draw it up. Basically, it was kind of the same as the wall. It was basically, don't go past the boundary line, don't harm or enslave the humans, leave them alone on their lands. They don't want to sign it because even though Hybern, the king of Hybern, is defeated, he still has people on Hybern. They still want the slaves, and they still want their land back. Because the last war, they had to give up their land to the humans. Like, half of the Spring Court was where Pharaoh's village and everything was.
Yeah.
Half of the continent was where the human lands in the continent are, like Vass's people are in Scythia. So they want to take over again for everything to just be Fae lands. They want to take, human slaves again. And that's why they're not signing it, because they don't want to sign it. And they really have no motivation to sign it, because what's in it for them?
Nothing.
Nothing changes.
It's like what's in for us. And, unfortunately with these peace treaties, and, we see it time and time again with our own, is that you have to have some teeth to back it up with. Because if you don't have any teeth, it's a paper shield. I don't know if you guys are big Game of Thrones fans, the show.
Yep.
Ned Stark, we love the guy. Even though he had discernible evidence of Joffrey being a bastard, being illegitimate and everything, he did not exactly have the teeth to back up his claim. He thought he could trust Littlefinger, which was a big mistake. Yeah. He thought he could get the gold cloaks on his side. Again, a big mistake. And his household guard, even though they're really good fighters, there weren't a lot of them. So, that's kind of where I'm looking at the new treaty is both the Fae Courts and the human lands are pretty much, I wouldn't say destroyed, but they're not exactly in the best
place ever. Yeah,
they're not functioning at their highest.
Still in a pretty good condition. Winter's still in a pretty good condition. Days in a
Winter
pretty
get
good
really
condition.
Night
Night
is, though?
I swear, can just respawn like that. They keep talking about how good the Lorien soldiers are, and yet they lose legion after legion. It's what is the birth rate of this place?
Yeah, because their commander left 1,000 people, 1,000 of his soldiers just died.
Dragged in by their knuckles.
And Cassian says this in Akamath, which is why I think it's crazy that people don't think he's gonna die. Cassian brings this up in Akamath when Feyre is first in the Night Court and asking about the Illyrians and him and Azriel's histories and stuff, and he says legitimately that the Illyrians are bred to be collateral. They are just grunt soldiers that are born to die for war. So, they spawn quickly. They have a lot of children.
Do they come out of eggs or something?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the fact that they keep their women oppressed and they keep magic from them and they don't get siphons and they are basically forced to be housewives and broodmares and all this stuff makes sense as to why they have so many kids, because they're living in the olden days of when that's all women were really for. You just have the kids, you do the home, the men go to war, that's it, So that's why I think the Illyrian have so many kids. And I think that's why they also dislike female children, because, okay.
Well, yeah, it goes against that, warrior tradition. It's the men are the ones supposed to go out and do the fighting.
Yeah. But it's if you don't have female children, then who are you breeding with? You get
and then it also makes and then it also makes some type of sense why Rhys just doesn't end the oppression of the women in Illyria, because that's where his armies come from.
Exactly.
So it makes a whole lot more sense.
To build back up
from birth, so they don't really ever the boys aren't hey, maybe you'd like to be a writer or a poet or a painter. Yeah. You're a warrior.
Yeah,
you get ripped from your parents.
You sew our leathers and you do our laundry and you cook our food and you're like a camp mother and that's it.
Yeah, so I think across the board, the Illyrians are just oppressed. I think if they were given other options and if somebody would work with them, that the whole society would probably rise. Which is why they're always in revolt. And I think Tamlin was doing something with them, because Rhysand is very afraid that Tamlin is going to align with the Illyrians.
I like to think that I say Lauren, but Rhys's sister, right? I love to think that Rhys's sister. I love to think that Rhys's sister was gonna try. I think that's why the father hated her so much. I think, and I 100%
Dad did something.
I'm not letting it go that he knew about the deaths. He knew about the
rebellious acts.
100%.
It could be one of those situations where I kind of agree with you, because it's it would make sense if the sister was one of those that's just I'm half Valyrian and I can sprout these wings and I'm going to wear my wings out as much as possible in solidarity to the women who can't fly.
Could have been the heir to the Dust Court and divided up the Night Court.
Right. And then she was also the one, going into Valaris wanting to be an artist. The artist quarters were her favorite. And that can't happen if you're Illyrian, especially with Rhys's father and mother.
But this is also Rhys's word to mouth about that. That's not that could have just been his interpretation. Grain of salt.
I mean,
not even a grain of salt, a mountain's worth of salt. They keep saying how much he loved his mother and loved his sister. Where where are like the statues then? Where are the monuments? Where are like the parks?
Where's the national holiday?
To be fair, he obviously he wasn't the High Lord then. I do think he I do think he loved them. I just don't think he thought about anything further than where he was at the time. And we see this even now in Akafas. We see this now in Akafas when Azriel's like, oh, we should tell Cassian about the upcoming revolt. And he's like, well, that can come later. Let's just deal with Solstice first. Like, you're not looking ahead as a High Lord ever. Ever. What is wrong with you? You should be telling your commander that they're going to revolt against him.
Now,
I have a question.
I think the question is, what is wrong with him?
That
should just sum up literally everything. What is wrong?
Yes. In Akatar, Rhys says, the quote is, she, Amarantha, killed half the court of nightmares. Not half the court of nightmares that was with me. Half the court of nightmares.
Oh, it was so
This is never mentioned again.
No, it's not.
Like, he mentions how sad he was.
And he's not like, hey, sorry about your dad, sorry about your mom.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh no. Well, anyways.
I know. Yeah.
What?
He's like, all the rest
court
of
of nightmares where he sends. Because the court of nightmares where he sends the disgruntled employees, so he doesn't really care about them. So.
He doesn't
even say something to him when he showed up, like, thanks for getting half the court killed. But like,
this is like, bye.
Who got killed? Did anybody get killed? I don't think anybody got. I think he just lied because it doesn't make any. As many of Rhys stories, it doesn't make any sense.
I have a theory that the Court of Nightmares was originally all of the Dusk Court people that didn't flee to Crescent City. And I think when the Night Court took over the territories, once there were courts, I think they shoved all the rest of those people into the mountains so that the history wouldn't be told. Or the people who remembered the history, I think they like wiped their minds, shoved them in the thing.
And send them there just in case.
Yeah. Because Moore... We know that Moore was part of the original Dusk Court line. She has the blonde hair like Thea, not Rhys, right? And if she's from the Court of Nightmares, that kind of goes with the fact that Court of Nightmares is dusk. Where is the tunnel to the prison island, the original Dusk Island? Hewn City, the Court of Nightmares, you know? Yeah. So there is a distinct connection there.
And that would explain how they like turned evil. I mean, you take a whole group of people, stick them under the ground without resources and sunlight, and you know, teach them. We write history to tell them that they're evil, and you kind of breed.
It's the prison 2.0 without cages.
Something about that. So, okay, so in Warhammer 40K, there are these beings known as the Primarchs, and they're the genetic sons of the Emperor, and they all got separated out into the galaxy at large. The two I want to bring up are Corvus Corvax, which I'm just going to call Corvus, and Conrad Curse, because they are basically cut from the same cloth, but it went two different directions. So
like the Night and Dusk Court.
Exactly. So Corvus landed on a planet, on a moon, where it was a prison world. But for these prisoners, these were all political prisoners, meaning these were philosophers, people who talked against the government, people who talked not, you know,
they weren't
murderers.
Kier has that knowledge on the Dusk Court. He flinches away from Truth Teller, not just Azriel, from Truth Teller. It's in the quote.
Right, and he had people who took care of him as a child. I mean, granted, this child has the mind of a supercomputer and grew up like stupidly quick, but regardless, because of their kindness and teaching him right from wrong, he was able to rebel against the main government and pretty much establish himself from there. Now, Kurz, on the other hand, he probably ended up on one of the worst planets in existence. This makes Hewn City, Under the Mountain, Crescent City, any
like the Gods planet that we're gonna see in Twilight of the Gods.
Basically,
that planet.
It just makes that place look like Disneyland. Yeah. It was called Nostromo, and he didn't exactly land on it as much as his pod pretty much went through the city and then rocketed itself into like the crust. And the populace was like, huh, that was weird. Just cover it up. Literally, that's all they did. They just covered the hole. So you have a infant Curse basically had to crawl his way out. And let's just say he was a little peckish, and there weren't the only wildlife on Nostromo were humans. Now, here's the big thing. Big joke on...
See, this would make sense that Sarah watches this type of stuff. I mean, she said that she does. But because, Amarantha shoved the Spring Core people in cages so that they had to eat each other? Interesting. Under a mountain?
Right.
Under the mountain.
Right. But in Curse's case, first and foremost, all the Primarchs were given gifts by the Emperor. Like, one is he can't die, literally. Another one is Sanguinius. He has the giant angel wings. Let's just say Curse originally was given the gift of prescience. You can see multiple futures. He was supposed to be the perfect judge, jury, and if needed, executioner. The problem is he's insane. Insanity is not one of the gifts he was given. And because he didn't have an upbringing where he was learning right from wrong, to him, he had to figure that out. And on Nostromo, gangs ruled the whole planet.
I mean, that would be crazy if Sarah made Beron that type of character. Because I feel like people are really underestimating Beron, and especially his connection now to Koshi. Nobody's talking about that. They're like, he's just a coward. He did, he couldn't really defeat Azriel's shield, but who knows if that was an act, right? Everybody is really underestimating this Koshi alliance.
Like, this guy's too much of a planner. Like, he's played the game.
It worries me.
He's the oldest of the High Lords at the moment. Like, he's the oldest one by a lot.
And nobody is thinking like, he's really going to be a threat. Everyone's like, Koshi. Okay, but Beron is allied with Koshi.
Yeah.
Eris is like, he's meeting with him.
That's a very weird relationship with Beron.
And it explains a lot.
Not enemies.
Yeah,
and it would explain a lot why Eris has, I guess, sought out the help.
Yes.
I hate using that word, but
I know.
He sought out the help of the Night Court.
He's terrified for his court.
Yeah, because he's just like, listen.
He's terrified for his mothers. I think he pretty much gave up on like all of his brothers outside of Lucian.
Yeah, but, I think he did too, unfortunately.
Like,
I think
he knows that his brothers are too far gone, and it's like, I wanted to help you kids, but
I know.
It's just like he knows that his brothers will crash out with Beron when it's time.
Totally.
They would do anything for power like Beron. We get that confirmation at the High Lord meeting. Yes, Eris can keep them in line where Beron doesn't really care. But
and Beron is like afraid of Beron.
Yeah, but when Beron was like, "No, you're not taking this antidote, but even if you did, your brothers wouldn't be sad to see you die from it." And they were like, like they literally didn't care. So I think Eris tried. He tried. I have a little crack theory, and it's kind of scary just because I really don't want Eris to die. I don't think Eris is going to die, but I think he's going to get maimed very badly, but I don't think he's going to die. Now, that kind of leads
probably seriously injured.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose a leg. I think he's going to have a Kaol arc with Nuon, which goes into my Nuon theory. But in terms of the brothers, there is one particular brother during the High Lord meeting that's like doing all like the snickering and like the laughing when Beron's like, your brothers won't be sad to see you die. I think that if Eris is actually Helion's son and that's why he needed the bids, I think this brother is actually supposed to be the heir. And I think Beron is just assuming that Eris is because he's the oldest, because we get told from Rhys, it is not always the oldest. It's like the most powerful.
The third child.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put it past
a lot of questions. The whole bid thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? I thought a power picked, and so then do you have somebody who's in charge?
Exactly.
How does that work? I don't understand.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to figure this out. If you're the weakest, and you're the High Lord, this take you out. I'm confused.
So if Eris and I think Lady A had a hand in this, but if Eris and Lady A were able to stifle Lucian's day court heir powers, I think they're doing the same to this brother because they want Eris to rule, to save Autumn. They don't want this corrupted brother to rule. So I think all of that's going to come out, and I'm really scared for Eris because I feel like it's going to come down to like this very anime style, like brother versus brother type battle.
Hey, Mel, have you ever read the great story of Medea?
I don't know. I don't remember. Probably
a million
like in
years
high
ago.
school.
I don't remember much
probably a million years ago.
I'm not going to bore you with all the details. It's just
I have a Greek mythology book. I'll have to go through it.
Lady gives me a lot of Medea vibes just because of like she is. I truly believe she's playing on an act because
Lady A.
Because her family line is actually older than Beron's, right?
It is, yeah. It's Duskcourt. Yeah.
And kind of like Medea is like she can trace her lineage back to Greek gods and basically be like, hey, Jason, you might have been great at one point, but you broke all your oaths. I kept all my oaths. Yes, I killed our children, but I still kept my oaths. So therefore, I'm not being punished for this.
I think that Lady Autumn's line, if we're going back to the whole Tog to Prythian crossing questions, I think Lady Autumn's line is a Minorian and Roelin descendant line. Because if you think about it, she has the really powerful fire magic, which is said, and that's basically why Beron bought her as a wife. But Eris has the silver armor of the witches and the red cape. Silver armor and the red cape during the war. Those are not the Autumn Court colors. Nope. He was wearing witch armor, witch colors. So I do think that Lady A is part of that Kraken witch line, Manon's Kraken witch line. And I think that that's where the cape comes from.
Yeah,
I think she gave it to Eris. I think that he's a rare Kraken prince. And that's why, he has all these like secrets and everything like that. But also on top of that, we have not only the cape, but Lucian has the same jeweled dagger that Dorian carries in the first Throne of Glass book.
Did he give that to Farah?
He did, but she gave it back.
Okay, thank gosh.
She's like, oh, you gave this to me when I needed
now she needs to go in the cave and get.
Okay, Mel, I got a question.
Chest sheath back.
Yeah, go ahead.
The bandoliers.
So let's go with that theory with Eris and everything.
Yeah.
How would that affect the line then? Because it's very cemented that you become the High Lord, the Cauldron, the power of the land chose you, so therefore you rule. Now, if that nameless brother is actually the actual heir and everything, how would that work?
He would have to kill him.
Probably, but...
And then Eris would be, so if the whole family line is wiped out, we know that the magic can swap and then choose another family line or someone totally different. But because Eris is...
Has me concerned for Spring.
Yeah, I know. But because Eris is still equated to Autumn through his mother, even though it's not through the paternal line, I think the magic would then choose him if the brothers were all dead.
I mean, yeah, fair. I'm just trying to figure out.
It does worry me for Spring. It does worry me for Spring as well.
I don't think she'll kill Tamlin.
I don't either.
That feels too easy.
It makes a great story though, but I don't think she will either.
She would have to really world build
and
Spring
she really does.
Another person
she's really bad at killing characters.
Well, she would have to show us another person that could qualify to be the High Lord of Spring.
Right, and unfortunately,
blood of
that's
the court.
Like the
and she didn't.
The Martell problem in the show of Game of Thrones, because it's like, oh, you literally killed off the entire Martell family and you just found one guy.
Okay,
who's this guy?
It doesn't work. So unless we do get another, crossover with Crescent City and frickin' Rune and Flynn come through, and Flynn is actually the heir of the frickin' Spring Court, because I can see her pulling that. Scares me.
Yeah, but I don't think that the Crescent City folks are going to be living.
They're not. Yeah, they're not.
They're not. It's like,
we like
go back to a medieval way of living, or
we like our modern life. We're fine.
I'm gonna choose.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of worries me just because, like, whoever thought Sathya and Therian would get married? So, like, Sarah does just kind of throw these things out there, but
not just get married, but choose to stay married.
Stay married.
Just stay there, or somehow bring like Crescent City tech to which.
And again, I've said that I'm like, Colin is gonna be her Jesminda, and it's gonna be awful because we're gonna see we're gonna see the Viper Queen just fucking murder him on page, and she's just gonna scream. Like the way that we got that with Dorian and Sorsha, we're gonna get it with Sathya and Colin too. It's gonna be very sad. But Therion's gonna be there to pick up his wife.
I picture that with Tamlin and Rhysand's sister. Dramatic. That's my other Rhysand sister theory, is that it was a whole Dorian Sasha thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But I'm
hoping she's in Crescent City and then Tamlin's in Crescent City 4, because I want a Tamlin book really, really bad.
I know. I want her to extend the freaking contract. I want a whole Tamlin book and a whole Eris book. The problem
with that is that will it sell? Because
it won't. It's not the same way.
She is a businesswoman. She knows what sells. The Night Court
and she knows that. And she knows that.
Christmases and he sells.
Yes.
And she knows that there's not like a huge fan base around Tamlin because of everybody.
And that's why she won't kill him off either, because people won't care.
Yeah,
true. I mean, but
unless he gets the purple edit, which he builds him up again
to get his story told.
Yeah, Kale got a story, and he really didn't have much of a story.
Everyone hated Kale too, like Tamlin. So yeah, he could, but I just go back to the 2020 interview when she said, like, yeah, I'm contracted for 3 more, but let's be real, it's going to be a lot more than that. So she had plans to extend the contract to do more books, but what the books are about, I mean, personally, which I've said before, I would love a book on each of the other courts that we haven't delved into. Yeah, I mean, even if it starts with Tamlin and Spring, even Eris trying to get Autumn back on track would make an awesome book. You know, Tarquin and the Fae Alliance in Summer, you know, Vivian and Callias, Vivian coming High Lady, Thiessen and the freaking Southern Continent Alchemist and Dawn. Like, there's so much content.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have like little independent standalones of the courts.
Yeah, standalones or interlude chapters that really
novellas even
or into that, like just something. Like there was a bone.
The theory of Briar and Tamlin, and that's going to be a thing. So do you think that's going to be a thing, Mel? The whole idea.
This is the woman who is 100%.
I'm the one who blew it up.
Gun to the wall.
Somebody else has said it
Katie,
too.
You opened up a can of worms that we cannot seal.
That's like throwing baloney.
She is my baby. I could go on for days about her. I have a whole thesis highlight on my Instagram about her. All of the little clues. Days.
Maybe she'll get a book. That would be amazing.
Her and Tamlin are 100% mates in Endgame, and I'm not letting that go ever.
So we're going to say that her and Tamlin are going to get a book, and then maybe people will read it for her.
I want that. That's what I want. I want them to get a book.
Okay.
And people are always like, oh, but she's human, and he can't be with human. Tamlin can shapeshift people down to their DNA and change their lifespans. Like, that's why Nyx has wings.
He can, but will he?
If she wants him to. That's the thing. He would need express permission, and I don't think he would do it without her permission.
No, several layers of express conditions, because you know,
if she's like, oh, I'm your mate, I want to rule with you, I want to be your high lady, I want to live here. And, you know, Tamlin would be the person who'd be like, are you sure? And are you still sure? And are you still sure? And are you still sure? Let's wait a month. Are you still sure?
It's a big fall. I think you get Tamlin's story, because Tamlin is the speaker of the truth. Like, and he's usually right, which is really funny because he's known as being always wrong, but no, he's usually right.
I don't want to.
Is normally right. Like I always say that one of the big things about his character is that he is extremely rational.
Yes.
Like you have to see it from his point of view, that everything he does is rational. Heck,
yes,
it is. The story goes out of its way to
de-rationalize it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorites is always after like.
Did you see my post yesterday? That I reposted from Threads about his Highburn strategy, and people were pissed about it.
Oh,
what is it? Because he said there was going to be no war, and that Rhysand started the war. Like, what was your? I didn't see it. Tell me.
So this is what I wrote, and there was someone going back and forth with me saying he was the traitor and he let them in, and I just, I was sending them quotes from canon and they didn't want to read them. So basically,
recently was like, oh well, Tamlin handed over Feyre's sister.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
What the fuck?
No, he didn't even know they were kidnapped.
Exactly, that was part of the
kidnapped until they were literally brought in front of him. It's like, who the heck are these people?
And actually,
I was supposed to protect them.
I've started tacking onto that just to really hammer the nail in with them. I've started tacking on the fact that Feyre knew that if she went to help her sisters, Cassian and Azriel would die. So essentially, she chose her newfound family over her sisters. Because she knew her sisters were going to die if she didn't act. But then she also knew that if she did act,
what was his hybrid strategy?
She picked them over them. Crazy. But anyway, my main post was, I just said, Tamlin made that deal with Hybern to protect his people. He knew the wall was coming down regardless, and Hybern would rape and pillage them like the temples. In Akamath, this was before all of the cauldron scene at the very end, right? I said, to get ahead of that, he went and offered to peacefully allow Hybern to look at the wall while monitored in his court in exchange for Hybern not harming his people. That was the main crux of the deal. He is a strategist and brilliant, and people act like his deal was traitorous. Even Rhys himself says that the wall was coming down regardless, and Tamlin should use that to his advantage. And he does, and then people get mad at him.
So, and it's like if you're mad at Tamlin for letting Hybern in to protect his land and his people, then you have to be madder at Rhys because Tamlin did that and he collected, secrets.
He was a double agent.
Yes.
And Rhys did what he did to protect the city and then did nothing.
Yeah. And it wasn't even about letting Hybern in. Hybern was already in. He was already sacking temples
there was
in
nothing
Prythian.
really stopping him.
Right.
He was already sneaking around Prythian. It was not Tamlin let him in. He was already in. He just wanted to destroy the wall. The only place he couldn't get to was the human lands.
My other tangent was that, after the attack on Valeris, which honestly I could not have given two less of a crap about what happened there.
Honestly.
The adder and everything. Feyre literally says, Tamlin was kind of right with the whole manor thing. It's like, oh wow, maybe he was right to do that. It's like,
oh, Tamlin was right about my safety. No shit, bitch.
Okay, so if you're
there's always this oh yeah, Tamlin was right. Yeah, Tamlin was right.
What?
And when you're reading it, you're going,
I get the idea, he shouldn't have done the extreme of that, but at the same time, that's kind of his character. It's look,
but his extreme
wait
was
here
she said
for 5 minutes, don't do anything.
He's like, I'll be back this
afternoon,
just chill out in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, she basically said he gave her all the reasons why he can't follow her to an active war zone.
Oh my God, he sat there when he didn't have to and explained the fucking thing.
Yeah,
while people are attacking his court.
He told her not to go to
explains it 7 times to her why she can't go to an active war zone. It's only when she said, I don't care who gets killed.
I don't care, I'm going.
I'm going to follow you no matter what.
Yep.
That's when he locked her in her own house for 5 minutes.
A mansion.
He then, however, locked her in an abandoned house for a week by herself.
On top of a court of nightmares.
In a blizzard. She couldn't even walk out the door.
And it was multiple times, not just once or twice.
Don't even get me started with Nesta being on top of a giant-ass mountain.
Yeah. And each time, the first time she said, he's like, oh, you can roam wherever. She goes, I wish to roam home. He's like, ha ha ha, no. And then the second time she tells him, take me back. And he's like, no.
Yes.
Bye. I'm going to do errands. Left her there. It drives me crazy.
She's her pretty room. Like, oh, I'm not a prisoner. My room is pretty. I was like, you said you couldn't leave.
You can tell by how pretty the house is I'm not a prisoner. I'm like, well, what?
Oh my God, she's such a bitch.
That girl loves a gilded cage.
She just accepted being in a golden cage.
Yes. Yeah. Which I'm sure
Valeris is literally shielded the same way.
Well,
the pregnancy bubble?
It's surrounded by mountains. It's a bowl, basically.
It's a fish bowl.
So yeah, it's
for Rhys to feed off of.
It's Dressrosa if you guys are One Piece fans.
I'm convinced that Rhys and his ancestors, I mean, I don't think his ancestors were as Valg as him because he got it from both sides of his family, but I do think Valaris is basically just their feeding ground for First Light.
I mean, yeah, it would make sense. I mean, look
at
it
makes sense, yeah.
Feed off pain. He loves Farrah's pain.
You know, you have all the wine.
Oh yeah.
Because like, Valg eat First Light, they eat emotion. Like this makes sense because if you think about it, every time Farrah feels remorse, especially at that High Lords meeting, it's glaring. He'll like put a hand on her knee, or he'll talk to her in his head, and then immediately, like, I'm blocking it out.
Like
it's gone. No more remorse. Like snap. The amount of times that she says, "I blocked it out. I didn't want to think about it. My temples were hurting." I wonder why your temples are hurting.
At the end of her sentences, and it just moves on to something else.
Because Rhys is taking it away and fucking with your brain. That's why you have a headache.
Like in Witch of the Woods, like one chapter I'm gonna do. I don't know if like right now or a little later. It's like she starts basically going insane. Like she literally has insane breakdowns that everyone tries to cover up. Because you know they can't make it look like she's this mentally unstable.
You're right, like the High Lady's unstable mentally.
Yeah.
Right.
In my fic, I have her like in postpartum depression after having Nyx, but she's also.
I remember that. I remember you sent us that. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like very confused at the time because she sees kind of how happy Tamlin is with Briar and how like it's still kind of the same dynamic that they had, and she's like, well, why didn't it work with me if it works with her, because she was formerly human. And then she's thinking back to like everything that Rhys is doing, and in the fic Nesta is pregnant with Cassian's kids, because I did throw people a bone. I made him better in my fic.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I made him a lot better. So he's a different character in my fic. But she's pregnant with his kids, and they're girls. And so Nesta basically calls them out for like, what if you had a girl, or what if I was born Illyrian and my girls are going to be born Illyrian? What are you going to do with them? You know, are you going to toss them into Illyria to be abused? And you know, am I expected to clip my children's wings? And like she kind of calls them out. And so Farrah's like ruminating about this, and she kind of like talks to Rhys about it, and she's like, you know, maybe Nesta's right, like maybe we should be doing more with the rest of our court and all this stuff. And Rhys is just kind of dismissive, and everyone's like, oh, he's tired.
That's what he does now.
He's just tired because Nyx is teething and they're just tired and all of this stuff.
Which I gotta admit, you actually you nailed the teething scene, because I've had plenty of nieces and nephews with teething. I've had
my cousins, my siblings.
Teething. Yeah. They are like beavers.
Yes. So she was exhausted. She has postpartum. She's thinking about how like she's kind of failed her court. Like she's never visited Illyria. And she's kind of ruminating over all this shit.
She hasn't visited literally anywhere unless it's Hume City. Yeah. That scene in Hume City, which is
when she's playing the whore.
It's just the throne room.
Yeah. So it's crazy because then like all of the Koshi War shit is happening, and everyone, you know, Azriel is infected and Elaine is infected, and you know, Cassian is called to go see Koshi so he can infect him, and like they can't really stop this from spiraling. And she is just not in a good place mentally at all. And Rhys is in no position to be, you know, trying to quell all of this because he's also acting crazy. So like in the last chapter, I had Rhys's Valg kind of talking to him from the inside. I thought it was really
that
cool
was
thing.
good. That was really good.
I thought that was like a really cool thing to do, because to show that he's struggling with it. Not that he's like inherently evil, but that there is a part of him that is more evil and does want more power. So going forward, these chapters are going to be so hard for me to write, because I basically wrote myself into like a huge situation. Because Azriel was stabbed by one of the queen's daggers that was infected by Koshi. So he has like the black spider webbing veins. He's getting infected. Gwen knows now because he was keeping it from Gwen. Gwen is trying to, you know, learn her fire magic from Eris, who she knows is alive. Lady A doesn't know Eris is alive because she thinks Beron killed him. It's like there's so much happening, and I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, I really kind of wrote a little too many threads here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When the whole being stabbed and infected by Koshi, that really reminds me of stuff that happens in Mistborn with
really
spikes. Yeah, so like we talked about this last time, but just a refresher. So in Mistborn, you get power through metal. Like you can ingest and one is called hemalurgy. With hemalurgy, you have to like stick metal in you to get that.
Yes,
but that power is a power of a shard by the name of Ruin, and he controls them through it. Like, if you look at the Steel Inquisitors, they literally have like 2 giant nails that go through their eyes.
Yes.
And they are terrifying. And that's how they get their powers, is through those metals. So when you did that and got infected, it's like, oh yeah, that reminds me a lot of like the hemalurgic spikes. That reminds me a lot of like fell magic from Warcraft.
I was thinking like, okay, well, if Truth Teller is like a death knife and it can kill the unkillable, then maybe the queens wouldn't have as much power as Nesta, obviously, but they could infect the metals to infect other people.
Whenever you said like kill the unkillable, it's like, well, then they're killable. That's just my brain being my brain.
I know. Well, Koshi the Deathless is really only deathless because his soul is not in his body, so it's like a whole word thing.
Look at the actual Russian,
But I was also thinking of which I was a really huge fan of Vampire Diaries when I was a teenager, and so I was thinking of like the White Oak Stake, how like only the White Oak Stake could kill the originals.
Right?
Vampire Diaries, read Vampire Academy.
But there's a certain wood from white oak, which is obviously a rare tree in the lore, and so if you make a stake out of that tree, which there was only like 1 or 2 left in existence, or they like split it, so then there was 2 left in existence, and those are the only things that can kill the originals, the original vampire.
Right, and white oak actually does exist in our world. In fact, most of the white oak in the United States is actually owned by the government. Like,
very
what's it called? Old Ironside. That's what's made of. So just some.
So I was kind of taking inspiration from those and being like, okay, well, if they are infected by the Asteri / Valg side of the cauldron, even though I'm not delving into this fanfic, but like the bad side of the cauldron, or the Dark Mother, because the Dark Mother is an Akatar, then with Koshi's like other magic that's helping them along because they're his ally, they could put it into metals and they could infect people that way. So they're basically infecting a bunch of Illyrians and then having those Illyrians infect other Illyrians, and it spirals. Spirals. So
it's like a zombie apocalypse.
I truly believe like he doesn't even have to go and infect them. All he has to do is just give them a better offer.
I know, right?
Like literally, hey, it's like, hey, you want a better life? Join my side.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the Illyrians are very like misogynistic, so I feel like they wouldn't listen to the human queens. That's the only reason why I did it that way, because Koshi is putting on the whole thing where, oh, I can't leave the lake, and the queens still believe that, so there's that whole thing. But they're fine. They turn into like these soldiers, they stab each other, whatever. But Balthazar escaped it only because I made Balthazar's mother an Illyrian witch who actually taught him his witch heritage. So that was a really fun part to do. I had him rescue the rest of the Illyrian camps, which I think it was only 2 or 3 Illyrian
really good.
camps.
I really like that part.
And brought them to Valaris because he's Emery's mate. So Emery was kind of like, just bring them. Like, who cares what the High Lord does?
Then you have a giant refugee crisis on your hands. So it's like, where are they going to go? It's like, I could either go to the place where there's nothing but artists, or I can go to the place where it's basically hell.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the artists, mainly because we are the ones with the weapons.
Yes, exactly. So they could also help defend Valaris. So Rhys was pissed.
Well, who's going to stop them? That's what my stance is.
But that's why I liked
these guys got all the weapons. Who's going to stop them?
Yeah, that's why I liked writing Cassian have his little morality crisis between his loyalty to Rhys and the helping Balthazar and the rest of the Illyrians. And he's like, all right, fine, just come in the city. I will deal with Rhys. And they had that whole meeting, which was kind of a clusterfuck of everybody just admitting that they're infected and admitting that nothing is going the way that they need it to go. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to get into the next chapter, but there's so much going on. There's so much going on. And I really want Sarah to get into the smaller things and the nuances of everything. Because yeah, you can write a huge war, but the details is what makes it. I love details.
Yeah, it's usually like the little things that build up to the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Like it's never just one battle. Like it's never just a scrimmage that causes a war. It's usually a whole host of problems that kind of build and resent and lead to this. Like as much as
like poison. Like even Rhys says, "Oh, love can be a poison." Yeah, well, so can ignorance. It can fester and fester and fester and fester.
Absolutely.
Until you have to come face to face with everything you've been ignoring.
If you just fight the big battles and you never go back and address the little things added up to it, then you just have to come back later and do the big battle. And
exactly.
Well, then
and then eventually those little things become a bigger battle anyway.
It's like them leaving Koshi at the fucking lake for 15,000 years. Letting the Weaver and the Bone Carver sit there. Like
everybody is like, oh yeah, those guys.
Koshi, it's like the guy's been alive for like 15,000 years. He can wait. Like he knows how to play the long game, even as much as the Fae are
the scary dude.
Slowly immortal.
Yeah.
Koshi's like, okay, whatever. I can just sit back and wait.
Even Lanthus said this. Oh, you think that 15,000 years is a long time for me? It's like a freaking blip. I'm just waiting it out. You know? He knew that. And I mean, along with the black blood and everything, that's also why I think that they're Asteri and Valg, because it's, again, Bryce is like, oh, to the Asteri, you know, these 15,000 years is like a month to them. Like it's nothing.
Not
you know?
even.
And
like,
yeah, they've been war walking this forever. That's nothing for them.
Yeah. I do like the mirror. I pointed this out the other day to someone who asked me a question on TikTok, and I'll have to pull it up. But I love the mirror between the mother, like the good deity, having 3 different names in the 3 different planets, and also the villains having 3 different names in the 3 different planets.
3 different planets, yeah, that's cool.
I was like, that was a really good thing that she did to kind of tell us they're the same.
Like Gaelic mythology, Celtic mythology. I mean, even looking at like mundane Christianity, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You know, the 3 aspects:
3-faced goddess,
the 3,
yes.
My question is: are there other gods,
lesser gods? Yes,
or even forgotten gods?
Probably.
I'm sure there is.
Oh, sorry. What do you consider to be a god? Because even the Valg call themselves gods. So what even is?
Yeah, I know the word is kind of like it has lost a lot of meaning.
I think the Asteri call themselves gods just because they're very, very, very hard to kill in that sense. And actually, Maeve has a quote about this. I want to see if I can pull it up. I think it's in Kingdom of Ash. I highlighted it because I really loved it when I was going back and looking for like Valg clues. I'm going to try to pull it up.
Yeah, I know both the Asteri and the Dago called themselves gods, but then in Throne of Glass you have like the gods who really didn't seem that powerful because at the end of the day, Aelin locked them away. I'm like, so what is a god to you guys? Like, what does that even?
Well, and Cassian beat like what? How many death gods? So it kind of takes away the whole idea of like, okay, are these things actually powerful?
They're so powerful.
The god just means you have a lot of power, in which case, like, it means nothing.
Right. Well, it's like even the word God, we see it as nowadays as like the Almighty, this all present being. But if we go back to like even like some of the earliest Paleolithic mythologies, a lot of their gods were just superhumans, or like they were beings of like thought, like encompassing like this thing. Or like if we're going with the Greeks, Romans, the whole Mediterranean side, they were almost human in the sense of like they still had flaws like humans did.
I found it.
Heck, even the Nordic gods weren't actually gods. They were more like just these really
they were figureheads.
Humans.
That's about it.
And if we're going like even into like the outback with like the dream walking, if we're going into like more of like the subcontinent of Africa, you know, the whole different ideas, it's just like these are just either very clever humans or these are people who can do other natural things, like Anansi. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen either Anansi as literally a spider or just a man who can just do all these great things and spin stories.
So I found the quote, and actually this kind of gives me really heavy, you know, future Rhys and Nesta vibes. So maybe
as a couple or just like
no, not as a couple, as like villain versus hero, I guess.
Okay. Good versus evil.
So Maeve says, "Do you understand what a Valg queen is?" There was triumph on her face, despite the long-lost Fae and Wolf Riders charging into the battlefield beyond them. Again, through portals? Come on. I am as vast and eternal as the sea. Erewhon and his brothers sought me for my power. Her magic flowed around her in an unholy aura. Now, doesn't Feyre say that Rhys's power is, like...
unholy?
Unholy? You believe yourself to be a god killer, Aelin? What were they but vain creatures locked into this world? What were they but things your human mind cannot comprehend? I am a god. So, the gods of Tog are like lesser beings, lesser gods. I don't think they're good or evil. I think they just are. It's kind of like how people I'm trying to think. Like, it's kind of how people describe death. Like, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just inevitable.
So it's just kind of like a job. So if you ever watch Supernatural, you know, when you meet death for the first time, he's not evil. He's not actively going around killing people.
I was thinking of Charmed. I was thinking of Charmed, yeah, because when death, like the angel of death shows up, he's like, I'm not good, I'm not bad, I just am. Inevitable. So that's kind of how I see these gods. Yes, they can lean either way, because we know Deanna was kind of awful. She just kind of wanted power.
Well, it's funny because in like the Cosmere, the Sanderson's universe, so there's this one god named Adamantium, and he was killed. 17 people killed him, 16 shards were taken up. And each shard is like a different emotion or aspect, or I don't know what you call them, because some of the big ones are honor, cultivation, ruin, preservation, and if mixed, they can actually make a new shard. So like when preservation and ruin mixed, they created harmony.
Oh, cool.
So, and the thing is that they needed a like avatar, living vessel to go into. So for example, the one who took up ruin, originally he was a very nice person, he was a very good person, but through the power of ruin and unknown how to control it, he became a monster. Same goes with preservation. Preservation was a murderer at first, but when he took up the shard of preservation, he became a good man, a little too good. Like, he wanted things to stay exactly the way they were.
Yeah, I just think that Valg is coming to ruin Rhys, and I do think Nesta's gonna have to, like, not really defeat him, because I know she's not gonna kill him off, but
I want Elaine to have all the bargains and bonds of Feyre lifted, so she knows all the truth. She leaves him. Rhys goes full Valg.
Yes.
And the three sisters have to bring him back.
Yeah.
But what if that's something that Nesta's able to do but doesn't know that?
I also kind of
she has all the holier than thou cauldron magic.
Yeah. But I can't tell if it's going to be the sisters or Tamlin.
Because Tamlin worked so hard to juxtapose those two, Tamlin has got to have a bigger role. Like if he doesn't, I'm going to be so mad because she built him up so much.
Tamlin has the Tog magic. He has the canines. He has the light. He had Goldrin's ruby, which means he could have Aelin's sword, which defeated Maeve. Like, we need
raw magic. So, like,
yeah.
I said we know that Nesta has the same magic as Irene, which the Valg are scared of. So.
Oh yes, Nesta.
Yes, yeah. I do think.
I mean, if Rhys was the big bad, I would love that. I don't think he's the big bad. I think Koshi is the big bad.
I had this really fun crack theory where Rhys had to be in the middle of a 5-pointed star. And so the people with the magic to defeat his Valg would have to stand at the points.
At each point.
5 points. And then like use their magic against him at the same time to
like an exorcism, basically.
To exorcise the Valg in him because he was born with it. He wasn't infected with it.
Well, I mean, if we're going to Tamlin, Farah, Nesta, Elaine, who's the fifth then? Lucian?
Lucian or Helion, who can spell cleave. Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
I want it. I just hope that she doesn't love Rhys so much that she's like, oh yeah, he's Valg, but all of the bad things he did were his Valg. Because I feel like she would do that. Unfortunately.
No, she won't kill him because she loves him, but she wants to crush the Raiders too. I mean,
I really hope so. There's too many things there. There's too many things there.
There's too much. And she's not like she's letting it go because it's in Silver Flame.
Really quick, the question that girl sent me. She said, in Heir of Fire, Luca mentions a powerful fae female who visited Maeve's court with raw magic. This character is never explicitly named or identified in the book. Who do you think it is? So then I just said, I like to think it was the mother, aka Word, or even one of her handmaidens, because I would assume that she has some of them. I think Clotho is one of them. I said a true deity transcends time. That's why she is known as the god of all three major worlds we have seen, Word, the mother Erd, all the same like the villains. And she's like, oh, that's really interesting, whatever. But I think it was the mother because if she is the true deity and she's the one that passes out mate bonds and she is ultimately the essence of fate, she would be, even from the Tog time, she would have been weaving all these threads for everything to come together as it's supposed to come together within the three worlds, which came together as the Massiverse, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think in real life, I don't think Sarah remembers that character or even saying that happened. But it would be really cool if we actually see the mother, you know, kind of not bind herself into a body, but kind of take over a body temporarily to visit certain people, maybe like Nesta, because she did choose Nesta, you know, as like Queen of Dusk and stuff like that. But I don't know. Do you guys think we're gonna see the mother? Because I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh, I think the mother is gonna become a character," and I was like,
No.
I think we might get some clues that, you know, whatever realm she lives in or wherever,
maybe as like a dream state character, or like as like one of those, like an illusion or something, but not as like an actual overall, like
deity essence sort of scene. Yeah. Like, oh, I have to.
That the sisters are set up to be the three-faced goddess, even though the three-faced goddess is like their past. So, like,
I kind of wonder. I don't know if she's gonna appear, but I do kind of wonder because we know Nesta's like hearing voices, kind of.
Yeah, she talks to Nesta.
I wonder if she's going to continue kind of just being this presence without being a physical.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
I think she's going to be more of like a ominous presence.
Yeah,
that's how I'm taking it.
I mean, I would love to see her as like a ghostly presence, like Elena. I think like that would be really cool.
I would love that. I would love that.
I would love that. I think that would be really cool. But I also pointed out before that Nesta hears her and feels her, but Azriel also felt a hand on his shoulder too.
That's true.
Crescent City 3. This is like almost, I think it's either right before or right after Vesperus says that oh, you have Annalius's knife and all this. And then Bryce is like, well, if he can wield the knife, he has to be Starborn. And I was like, yes, we knew it.
But then I've said this before though about the whole wielding and actually using the powers of a tool.
Yeah.
Like just because he can hold it, like we saw Elaine hold it, but that doesn't mean that she used it to its potential.
with Elaine, she just used it to like kill Hybern. She wasn't harnessing its powers or anything.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We don't know if Azriel actually harnesses its power. We just know that he can hold it.
He does the truth thing because it goes cold or hot when he's interrogating people. He does use the magic.
Right.
It's pointed out. And then also when he's holding it with the Star Sword, they're humming and he can hear it the same way that Bryce can. I don't think Nesta can, which is weird.
Nesta can. And it seemed to be bothering him when they were talking.
Yeah, he was like, oh, like, you know, pushing off like the strength of it, you know.
It can also be maybe it doesn't bother Nesta because she can make items made.
Yes, because she is made like
so
them.
Maybe that's why it doesn't bother her.
Yes. So with Azriel, I don't think that we have seen, kind of like Tamlin, I don't think we have seen the whole of Azriel's
backstory. Yeah. Oh, I think he's powerful.
I 100%. Oh yeah, I still think that he is Adis's essence child, the same way that Hunt was.
I think that's why he was
Thanatos.
kept in. He was kidnapped, and that's why he was kept the way he was as a child. And I think Rhys knows.
I have this really crazy theory. I don't know if you guys saw my reel on it, but I do think that Kaltain is Azriel's mom. I think that she was propositioned by the princes of hell to carry this child, much like Hunt's mother was.
Really, Kaltain? Really?
I'll have to send you. I'll have to send you all the things.
I mean, how old do you think Azriel is then?
Azriel? Like how old?
Like,
yeah, because your theory is that
he's like 540. Yeah, he's 3 years older than Rhys and Moore and Cassian. Yeah. But so the thing is, I always go back to this. Cormac and Kaltain died the same way. And Kaltain was heavily like infused with Valg magic, so much that her fire magic became shadow fire. And Cormac has fire and shadows. And he blew up the castle the same way that Kaltain did. Now, this is where it goes into crack territory. If she fell into Prythian. If she fell into Prythian, we know that there is the archway where Nesta felt breath on her neck, the black stone, which is seen in Tog. And we also know that there's the black monolith that the Daglin wanted to get to escape the world to other worlds. So if she blasted through, ended up either from the monolith or the archway on Illyria, kind of thought, okay, so this is a world of winged creatures or whatever. The Valg can shift into any form they want. I think she gave herself Illyrian wings to fit in where she landed. Because she, even when I think it's Dorian, does Dorian summon her spirit or something? Or her spirit shows up at the end of Tog? And she's talking to them and she says, oh, I don't know where I am. Like, it's alluded to that she's dead, but she physically says like, oh, I don't know where I am. Like, I don't know what realm I'm in.
And became an Illyrian woman. Like, no, let that woman rest in peace.
Yeah, 100% became an Illyrian.
Now I'm like thinking about her physical description. I'm just like, she could fit.
Exactly.
She does
like
have dark
Azriel.
Hair. Yeah, she does have dark hair. She has tanner skin.
She was hearing the flapping wings. She has sixth sense, just like Azriel.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. So I'd never read the whole of Tog, but I am on Crown of Midnight. And the fact that you said she hears the flapping wings, I literally just got back to that part the other night where she's talking, where Selena goes to visit her Wyvern, and she tells her, she's like, I hear they sound like wings and they're always flapping.
Yes,
and then Selena's just like, what are you talking about? You can't hear anything down here.
Azriel has headaches.
And she's like, it's probably her opium addiction. She's coming down from the opium.
Yeah. Well, so she also had the word key under her skin, which was giving her the headaches. And Azriel has headaches after Hewn City. Hewn City is hewn from Wordstone.
Yeah.
I swear Kaltain is
that was a good card.
Kaltain.
That would be a good time.
With all these people falling through portals and just ending up in worlds they're not their own, making babies. Come on.
Yeah. Well, so because she was so traumatized. But here's the thing, because she was so traumatized by the Valg, which are basically the Asteri, the villains of Hell always wanted to combat them. Kaltain would have like the most knowledge about them in the Prythian world, right? So they would go to her and, you know, ask her, do you want to help us defeat these people, right? And so I could see her
wonder. I kind of wonder, after what she went through, if she would put herself in a situation where she would allow herself to be suppressed in any kind of way ever again. If she'd be like, no, I'm done with that. I kind of got the idea that she was like not going to put herself in a situation to be suppressed again.
I don't think she purposely did. Like I said, I think she fell through the worlds. I think that she wasn't expecting to be tied to Azriel's biological father. And then when he realized, you know, what was happening, I think as an Illyrian male, because they are, you know, pretty awful, most of them, I think he tracked her down. And that's what happened. And he's like, you're not going to see your son unless you do what I want, you know? So I don't think she purposely fell into that. I think originally it was between her and maybe Ada.
I don't like it.
Because
I get where Candy's coming from, because it's like, damn, another man manipulating and abusing her.
I know.
That's
Leave that woman alone.
I know.
Interesting, but I don't want that for her.
Yeah,
I want her to be like,
interesting.
absolutely not. I'm taking my son out of here.
But it makes a lot of sense, and she looks just like Azriel.
It does make sense.
The connections. I see the physical connections.
And even going back to Hunt's story about his own mother is very eerily similar to what could have happened there. Because why, and this is one of my main points that I harp on all the time. Okay. What did his brothers hear that would compel them to set him on fire? They had to have heard something about shadow fire. And if the father knew about his bastard son's mother having shadow fire, and he was, you know, telling his wife, because again, he had a freaking wife that hated Azriel, obviously, then, and the brothers overheard, because they were also kids at the time, oh, if he has shadows, let's make shadow fire, sets him on fire. Like, that makes sense too, because why else? Like, physically, why else would kids light another kid on fire?
Or they're probably, or if that's the way you're going with it, then they can easily be like, oh, he has shadow fire. He probably won't burn if we light him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think they thought he was going to actually burn. I think his magic was going to turn into shadow fire as kids.
I'm gonna take this theory and chew on it.
I want Kaltain to be happy in
whatever spiritual
But see,
land
if Kaltain is dead, Cormac is dead, and I'm not dealing with Cormac being dead.
I'm okay with Cormac being alive. I'm not okay with Kaltain being alive. I want Kaltain resting in peace. I want people to leave her alone. I definitely don't want her to be an Illyrian woman with a kidnapped child. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
No.
But again, why would she say... So here's the other thing, really quick before you go. Why would she say, I don't know where I am? If she's in the afterworld, why would she say, I don't know where I am? And that goes to which I love to point out. This goes to.
Never been there before.
Well,
she was going to leave her alone. Don't call me. I don't know where I am. Don't call me. I'm lost.
Oh my god.
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation. A margarita going,
I don't know where I am.
Don't look for me.
The Rune bonus chapter of CC3 after his wedding with Lydia, and he's talking about Cormac, and he's like, oh, I hope he's resting in peace with Sophie, or wherever his soul now is. What do you mean wherever his soul now is? Like, why would she add that in instead of just like, oh, he's resting in peace? Wherever his soul now is. That's very eerie.
She can't kill anybody, but she better have killed Kaltain.
I don't know. She reminds me way too much of Azriel, from the description to the headaches to the sixth sense, like all of it.
I'll keep reading. I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Keep us informed.
Yeah. I'll come back to you in a couple of days and let you know how I feel about that now.
Chew on it. Let me know, and I'll send you guys the reels on the pod page or group chat.
Sounds good.
Bye.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye.